because we, your leaders, misspent your money. You know what would make tightening my belt a little easier? If I could tighten it around Jesse Helms' scrawny little chicken neck. I feel better about the sacrifice right now. You fucking tobacco pushing motherfucker. You are the worst fucking drug dealer in the fucking world. You scrawny right-wing fear-mongering piece of sucker of Satan's cock. You suck Satan's cock, you fucking chicken neck little fucking cracker. I'd tighten my belt if that were
Bill
the
Hicks
case.
says now we've got to start paying this back.
I'd eat bologna for a week. You know what I mean? I'd sacrifice. Boy, Jesse Helms is another great one, isn't he? Just another little fevered ego tainting our collective unconscious. Because you know, anyone like Swaggart, anyone that far to the right is hiding a very deep and dark secret. You do know that, right? I'm an armchair fucking psychologist, but anyone that, you know, when Jesse Helms finally dies, he's going to commit suicide, first of all, in a wash tub out back underneath a pecan tree. He's going to slash his wrist. He's going to write in blood, "I've been a bad boy." But you know they're going to find the skins of young children drying in his attic. Swarms of horseflies going in and out of the eaves, and on CNN over and over his wife going, "I always wondered about Jesse's collection of little shoes." Anyone that far to the right is fucking hiding a deep, dark secret. Speaking of Satan, I was watching Rush Limbaugh the other day. Didn't Rush Limbaugh remind you of one of those gay guys who likes to lay in a tub while other men pee on him?
Oh. Barbara Bush says she tortures children viciously, but she doesn't like to be insulted by Bill Hicks.
His little piggly wiggly dick can't get hard. I can't get hard. Reagan, pee in my mouth. Well, how's that, Rush? Still can't get hard, so they call in Barbara Bush. She takes her pearls off, puts them up his ass, then squats over him, undoes her girdle. Her wrinkled, flaccid labia unfolds halfway down to her knees, like some ballless scrotum. She squeezes out a link into his mouth. Finally, his dick gets half hard. A little clear bubble forms on the end with a maggot inside. The maggot pops the bubble and runs off and joins a pro-life group somewhere. Am I the only one that sees that? Or no? Thank God I'm not alone. Thank God I had the insight to notice Rush Limbaugh is a scat muncher. He munches scat. Jesus, Bill. So proud of that little dark poetry there. It started, I came up with the word scat muncher, and it went from there, and I just immediately thought of Rush.
Richard Hayne Jr. says I shouldn't be full of myself yet.
Folks, it's time to evolve ideas. Evolution did not end.
Richard Hayne Jr. says I shouldn't be full of myself yet.
It didn't end there. We're at the point now where we're going to have to evolve ideas. The reason the world's so fucked up is we're undergoing evolution. And the reason our institutions, our traditional religions are all crumbling is because they're no longer relevant. they're no longer relevant. So it's time for us to create a new philosophy and perhaps even a new religion, you see. And that's okay, because that's our right. We are free children of God with minds who can imagine anything. And that's kind of our role.
Codepig says,
I'll give you an example right here.
alas, she has always been a rebel.
Please relax. And now I'm starting to lose him a little bit here with this shit. I'm like digging a fucking hole right now. And another thing. Where the hell did Bill go? He dug himself right through the planet. I hear people heckling in Chinese right now. Why you don't do dick joke? Do dick joke. When crowd back. No one wants to hear your philosophy. They want to hear dick joke.
Tom says he wants our full PsyOps abilities. Affirm, reaffirm to the power of an infinite number of infinities.
Here's how you evolve an idea. I'll give you an example. Why is the drug czar of this country? Well, let's go back.
Tom says you can beat, rape, and torture me, and I'm still mean.
B, why is he a cop? Why isn't he a guy in recovery who's had an alcohol and or drug addiction?
He says he feels sorry for the people who get tortured by Satanists, especially ones who get tortured by all Satanists.
Why do we put people who are on drugs in jail? They're sick. They're not criminals. Sick people don't get healed in jail.
Gino says they're stupid.
And if we evolve the idea, you see, the planet might be more.
Gino says he understands his psychology and your psychology, Paul.
I want everyone here to take the 5 dry grams I take.
Gino says when you torture someone, they kind of belong to you.
Check them out. On your chair. Let's go, man. The fucking UFOs are waiting in the 5th dimension. Let's go.
Because you have an unusual amount of power over them.
We'll do it later. We'll do it as a closer. Shit. Mushrooms grow naturally on the planet. They're against the law. Marijuana grows naturally on the planet. It's against the law. Do you think
Gino says when you're doing the torturing, it doesn't hurt you.
I don't know. Unnatural?
That's because you're doing the torturing.
Waco debacle. I was very bummed because I thought that was the most fascinating story of the year, bar none. And everyone was so upset with that guy because he called himself Jesus, right? And I said, come on, you know, the guy's real name is Vernon. Let him be Jesus for a couple of months. You know what I mean? What's it to you? Who's going to follow a Messiah named Vernon anyway? You gotta be Jesus. That's part of the Messiah deal.
Gino says when I piss, I wipe my cunt. And when I shit, I wipe my ass.
Oh, Vernon. Where y'all going? To the drive-in. Joe Bob Briggs in the movies real good. Vernon's going. He's my Messiah.
Gino says he's watched me.
I follow Vernon.
Gino says he feels sorry for people who have no privacy.
Isn't that weird though? People are snapping.
Us, the Satanists, have no privacy, past, present, and future. Affirm, reaffirm.
Particularly in America,
Affirm,
where more
reaffirm.
people resemble Buddha than Jesus.
Affirm, reaffirm. To the power of an infinite number of infinities.
I'm Buddha.
I ask everyone in the universe to see all the times Gino pissed and what he did to the tip of his penis after he pissed,
All I gotta do is
and every
change 2
time
letters
Dino
on my
took a
bill.
shit, and how he wiped his ass every time he took a shit.
Come over here and read my script.
Past, present, and future. Affirm, reaffirm. Transcribed and televised. Details, please. Affirm, reaffirm. Affirm,
When I
reaffirm.
was in Australia,
To the power of an
Australians
infinite
are
number of
big
infinities.
Texas, the branch Davidic compound. I'm from Texas, so they were very curious. They were asking me all about it. Oh, this
I would like to
guy's
see whether Dino used
Koresh.
toilet paper to take the drop of water off the tip of his penis, or
Frustrated rock musician.
if he just shook it in the toilet, or
Armed
if you let it get on his his briefs. Dino says he wore white briefs, you know, the dorky kind that don't go down your leg, like my son Rich. Richard Denny Jr. wore Speedo underwear.
I don't know if this is going to be an isolated incident.
Richard Henning Jr. wore Speedo underwear. They were like $8 a pair. So I was like eating Twigs. And he was spending $8 a pair on underwear. Dino says I'm lucky because Richard Henning Jr. is basically the only one that earned an income for 20 years. And then I got 2 years alimony, no, 1 year alimony and then 50 grand in insurance.
Bradley tanks shooting fire into the compound, which I think went against the party line story, which was that they shot tear gas in order to help the mothers.
I got to sit and rest most of the time. The only thing I exercised was my brain.
The soft cell is definitely the FBI's way.
While other countries just honoring, privileging, we're working out every day and everything.
And that the French police and all they did was shoot tear gas, and yet I've seen with my own eyes and my squeegee third eye footage of a Bradley tank shooting fire into the compound, which isn't that odd that no major news sources picked up on that? How do you think that's newsworthy? Because that basically means that the government, from the FBI and the ATF up to Chan Reno, including Clinton, are liars and murderers. And wait, there's more. I mean, the implications are vast. And if the ATF and FBI had any honor, if there was any honor left or dignity on this planet, they would commit Harry Carey while first admitting what they thought they killed themselves, because they are liars and murderers. Oh, we had to bust the compound down because we heard child molestation was going on. Yeah, if that's true, how come we don't see Bradley tanks knocking down Catholic churches? I'm talking if child molestation is actually your concern. Well, there's a methamphetamine lab on this, another one. And not one child came out of there saying they were molested. Not one child. They don't want the voice of reason spoken, folks, because otherwise we'd be free. Otherwise we wouldn't believe their fucking horseshit lies, nor the fucking propaganda machine, the mainstream media, and buy their horseshit products that we don't fucking need, become a third world consumer fucking plantation, which is what we're becoming. Fuck them. They are liars and murderers. All governments are liars and murderers. And I am now Jesus. Now, this is my compound. Sorry if anyone here is Catholic. I'm not sorry for offended. I'm actually sorry. Just the fact that you're Catholic. It's got to be one of the most ludicrous fucking beliefs ever. Like these vampire priests sink their twin fangs of guilt and sin into you as a child and suck your joy of life out of you the rest of your fucking existence. And I love watching the Pope bounce around in his little Pope mobile. That's got to be hoot number one on my fucking CNN list. Just, I want a whole show of the Pope just bouncing around that all-terrain Pope mobile with the 3 feet of bulletproof plexiglass around it. Boy, there's faith in action. You see, you know he's really the spokesman for God, because only God's spokesman would need plexiglass bulletproof, don't you think? Don't y'all read that the same way? No. Christianity's the weird one, though. Christianity's such an odd religion, I was raised that way, and you suffer for it.
Some of the satanic children say they're very conscious of how much of Charlie Crawford's money I spend on electricity. Charlie Crawford could be higher status than Richard Henning Sr.
Thank you, forgiving Lord.
I mean, he's hillbilly right up front, he doesn't hide it.
I've been compared to Koresh before. People said I was like Koresh, except without the guns or pussy. And, it means I'm just a real annoying
Gino affirms that Charlie Crawford is higher status than Richard Henning Sr. He may have the same amount of money or more money, But he's a hillbilly straightforward. He doesn't hide it.
Ball up their nose. 7 of them. I saw it when I was a kid. I don't understand it. And I knew Billy Clinton became one of the boys when he bombed Iraq. Remember that? It was just a little news story for 2 days. Isn't that interesting? He launched 22 cruise missiles against Baghdad in retaliation for the
Tucker says something.
assassination attempt against George Bush, which failed. We killed 6 innocent people, launching 22.
Tucker says they're sinking into the least common denominator.
Killing 6 innocent people.
So whoever went down there,
Yes, you know what we should have done? We should have embarrassed
the black thick lines
Here's how we could do it.
that went down there is the least common denominator because they're sinking into him. And I'm not sure I remember who that is.
It said, that's how you do it, Towelhead. Don't fuck with us.
I don't remember.
And see, if Bush had been the one who had died, there would have been no loss of innocent life.
You know, since I read a lot of books for having the limited amount of brains I had.
Derby with them. That's what we should do. Car bomb derby. Instead of going after American gladiators, we can just watch it. Big ratings. It's good. I like car bomb derby. We beat the Iraqi team again. I love that. That way we'd all be on equal ground again. I don't believe in equality. I believe there's a commonality to all humanity. We all suck. Okay, thank you. I have this feeling, man, because you know there's a handful of people actually run everything. That's true. It's provable. It's not a fucking not a conspiracy.
When it's something that's important to you, you can rise to the occasion.
I have this feeling who's ever elected president.
I didn't like what they did to me, and I didn't think they should do that to anyone. Turns out they were doing it to millions of children around the world.
Industrialists, capitalist scumfucks who got you in there, and you're in this smoky room, and this little film screen comes down, and a big guy cigar roll of film.
Dino says John Dorschner freed me a lot with his article, Speak of the Devil, Psychotherapy Discovers Satan, in Miami Herald's Tropic magazine.
And then the film, the screen goes up, and the lights come up, and they go to the new president. Any questions?
In 1989.
Just what my agenda is. First we bomb Baghdad. You got it.
Dino says he didn't know what my agenda
We've
was.
got to come to some new ideas about it.
I think that meant later in life,
Unfortunately, it might be.
when I was on the internet so much.
That's what matters is, you really believe in sanctity of life, and you believe it for people of all ages. That's what I hate about this fucking child worship syndrome going on right now. Save the children.
They didn't say they
Save the
bury
children.
mustard seeds.
How many children were in the wake of the children? Hey, what does that mean? They reach a certain
Say they
age,
say
they're
they
off the
bury
fucking
mustard
log list?
seeds.
Fuck your children. If that's the way you feel, fuck you with them. You either love people in general from all ages.
About 5 inches into the ground.
Well, what kind of philosophy is this? I don't know. I'm chasing this philosophy like a hound. I don't know where it's heading.
Gina says he made it so I wouldn't know if I was buried alive in a coffin or if I'd seen it in a movie.
It's true. Shut the fuck up.
Like Kiefer Sutherland's movie with
Fucking make the world better by bringing
maybe
the world
Sandra Bullock, I'm not
to
sure.
the planet. Why don't you try loving the people that are already fucking here, okay? Instead of living for a future that never fucking comes. It doesn't exist.
Maybe some
It
other
ain't
cunt.
coming. There is no future. There's no such thing. It doesn't exist. You're our future. The children are our future. There's no such
Sandra
thing.
Bullock says she didn't like the way I first perceived her, and that Sylvester Stallone, people under ice, underground, being reprogrammed and programmed, so she changed. I don't change. Sandra Bullock says there's a reason she and Keanu Reeves made the movie Lake House.
I'll be sitting there a while. It's kind of a tortoise in the hare story. That's Bill waiting for people to catch up. earplugs and squeegee your third fucking eye. Okay, the TV is clouding it over, okay? The TV is like taking black paint to your eye.
Jan Walker says she ruined her body by having 4 children in Sweden, and De Duarte wouldn't fuck her anymore.
Fucking accident? Mushrooms grow on cow shit? Where do you think the phrase "that's good shit" came from? Childbirth isn't natural. I'll let that sink in. Childbirth isn't natural. We're not supposed to give birth. We're not supposed to age or die. Did you know that? We're supposed to live forever. We're supposed to be in a garden right now, leaning against a tree naming animals. And the fact that you don't know the name of every animal in the world tells
Jan Walker says she had my concern as an adult because I remembered her bleeding from the vagina down her legs in the back of Donna Jean Wachmer Landsberg's station wagon. I was in the back too. And I asked Donna, Mommy, why is Jenny bleeding from her, or whatever, I don't know what I called it.
Men don't want children. No man in this
I don't know what she said. We were taking Jan somewhere, probably home to be re-raped by her mother. Maybe her mother, she was like 60 years old when Janny was 6. Maybe she hung her from the kitchen and shoved knives up her cunt. Maybe that's what Donna had been doing in case I didn't work out as the Holy Spirit.
And buying Michael Bolton CDs, because
Little Wisdom Jan.
And you're out of the man club. You're right.
I don't know, with all the margaritas we buy, we can afford them. It looks like Jan Walker was another Little Wisdom. They had them lined up. Pop them off, see which one left standing. That was the one. That's me.
The idea that has made me virtually an anonymous figure in America for the last...
Dino says there were 144,000 Little Wisdom girls. Donna Jean Wachmer Landsberg says she regrets I learned anything about Jehovah's Witnesses. Though 144,000 isn't in the Jerusalem Bible and Revelations either. I learned it from Tina France, who stole my dehumidifier. It's worth $150, that pig.
Wait. Let's be clear on this. I know you think there's...
She says she's a sow, not a pig. I guess that's a male pig. So she's still a pig.
They're not. Do you know that every time a guy comes, he comes 200 million sperm? Did you know that? 200 million sperm. And you mean to tell me you think your child is special? Because 1 out of 200 million sperm, that low. We're talking 1 load. Connected. Gee, what are the fucking odds? 200, you know what that means? I have wiped entire civilizations off of my chest. With a gray gym sock. That is special. Entire nations have flaked and crusted in the hair around my navel. Maybe even Gideon. That is special. And I want you to think about that, you two egg-carrying beings out there.
God says Tina France has my Kindle. The one that Ryan Hagman fixed.
I've tossed universes.
Tina France says she's connected to Mercy from South Dade Home Health. They're probably related or best friends or lovers or something. Mercy says they're lovers. But Mercy considered sucking me, my twat, but Tina France had a much better body.
much for
She was a pig. She was a sow. She was huge.
Thank you very much.
Somebody says Mercy's a real piece of shit. I affirm the statement. Gino says he knows everything. That he's omniscient. Omnipotent, that's about true. He's fucked probably every woman on the planet. He says just celebrities and stuff. And omnipresent. I guess he's connected to the NSA with Richard Hanning Sr. An unusual kind of snoop. God says Dino is connected to the Bergens family. They're pretty fucking ugly. I don't know how they made it through.
God, lift me up out of this illusion, Lord. Heal my perception that I may know only reality and only you.
Dino says you appeared out of nowhere, God, and he's never even seen you. Dino says he saw me see you enter the driver's seat of your older car, your silver car, and immediately emerge from the passenger seat. That he saw it through my eyes, but that he's never seen you. Dino says you have a time machine. Like a round ball that looks like the pumpkin that became the carriage for Cinderella.
Ladies and gentlemen, show this.
Tom says he's intelligent enough to almost get it. Tom says he came out of Margaret McIntyre's womb.
I feel like everyone's aware that that was too much. There was definitely a moment where collectively everyone was like...
Margaret McIntyre affirms it. Adele Gardner says she's still lucky to loot her home in Milwaukee. Gardiner.
I feel like a couple of you are like, I'm going to be the guy. You're going to hear me. At least 4 of you are like...
I looked up her address and put it on the internet. So you guys could probably either find my address of hers or independently find it. It's ADELEGARDINER, and she lives in Milwaukee, Wisconsin.
I'm afraid of a crash. I'm afraid of a conversation. That's what I hate about flying. I was on a plane the other day. The guy next to me was like, "What do you do?" And I was like, "I mind my own business on airplanes." That's First of all, you're sitting too close together to have a conversation. You're not trying to make eye contact. We're just staring at each other from this distance. I'm like, I can kiss you without using a neck muscle. That's how close you are. I was on a plane the other day. The guy next to me was eating a lollipop.
Adele Gardner says she's somebody
airplane food, a lollipop.
like...
It's too noisy. He's like... I was like, sir, you're turning me on. Could you...
The Cosmo editor, or Bella Abzug, ABZUG, Helen Gurley Brown or Bella Abzug, A-B-Z-U-G. They're feminists.
He's like, I'm gonna hold on to this until I fly. I want to make sure I have that 3 inches from somebody's ear.
Gloria Steinem says she's a Bergens, but she's not an ugly Bergens.
They don't sell them, do they? If you give me $10 right now and you were like, go get me a lollipop, I would come back a week from now with my shirt torn and be like, I couldn't do it. I don't know.
I forget Mr. Bergen's name, first name. He says he watched me and Ann in our room while we slept, and she masturbated more often than I did.
That's the only time as a society we're not looking at our phone. Everyone's like, let's put our phones away and look upset at everybody else on this airplane. I hate it, but I do it too. I'm just as guilty. As soon as I sit down, I'm like, look at this fucking idiot getting on the plane. What? Back there. It doesn't matter where you are on the plane. You feel better than everybody behind you, don't you?
Mr. Bergen says Gloria Steinem had a different mother. She's a Bergens, but she's not one of the ugly ones because she had a different mother. But they fuck whatever they want in Satanism. Children, other people's wives, other people's girlfriends. And the wives don't mind.
For like 5 hours. I wanted him to die. I swear to God. I hope this guy passes away on the flight. First of all, you don't need to make a noise.
Barbara Bush says just because she shits in Rush Limbaugh's mouth while he sits in a bathtub masturbating or trying to get hard doesn't mean Bill Hicks has a right to talk about it. Satanists say the truth offends them very deeply. And that the truth has no connection with their lives. George Bush says he got really hard when he watched Barbara Bush take a shit in Rush Limbaugh's mouth while he was sitting in the bathtub. I haven't really seen Nixon here. He may be in someone else's heaven and hell program. I guess I'll upload this.